Welcome, everyone, to our podcast live from our offices here in London. My name is Gerry Perez, and we are hosting KraneShares with Jonathan Krane. Jonathan, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here, and thanks for having us, and it's great to be in London.
So tell us a little bit about KraneShares.
Sure. Yeah, KraneShares is an ETF firm headquartered in New York City. We manage various types of strategies listed on London Stock Exchange and also New York and NASDAQ. Strategies focus on China, emerging technologies, alternative strategies, and carbon credits.
So what brings KraneShares over to London?
Yeah, we're very excited to be here. And today we listed an ETF fund on the London Stock Exchange.
It's great, and it has to do with humanoid technology. How did you get involved in it?
Yeah, we at KraneShares we look for mega trends. Okay, and a lot of it today is focused on technologies. So these are long-term trends that we see are 20-year type of opportunities. We also focus on technology trends that have both China and the United States involvement. Okay, where there's leading technologies and humanoid robots. It's just beginning. I think the world is it's predicted to see over 1 billion humanoid robots on the planet in the next 20 years. Morgan Stanley predicts it's a $5 trillion industry. And KraneShares launched the first humanoid robot fund in the world. And so we want to be able to offer investors early opportunity to what we think is a long-term megatrend.
So the fund is made up of what components in order to have the outcome?
Sure. The fund is made up of the whole ecosystem of humanoid robots, and that's from the rare earth metals to the batteries, to the chips, to the hardware, and also the producers of humanoid robots.
And the retail space just got involved in this, or has it always been able to invest?
Yeah, so it's the retail space. For public investing, this is the first time this is offered.
That's fantastic. And bringing this over, there's a lot of talk right now about artificial intelligence, humanoids. So is artificial intelligence, humanoids the same technology? Is it separate or?
Yeah, there's the big part of humanoids is artificial technology. Okay, so AI is a big driver of robots going forward, and so there's definitely the chip companies are very important. I think the battery companies are going to be very important, and then obviously the hardware too.
And you personally, what got you involved?
Yeah, we've been actually following this for a couple of years, and we saw that there was a lot of technology leadership coming out of China, and we've been following those companies, and we saw that there was enough companies, okay, to put together a meaningful portfolio. There's 50 companies in the portfolio across the whole ecosystem of humanoid robots, and we think these companies are going to drive that industry, and there's incredible growth opportunities within this industry.
So we've got this little humanoid over here, but you're coming all the way from overseas. And I notice it's a little bit late. So what's the story here?
That's right. The humanoid is very human and has experienced some jet lag here. It was very interesting to see people experiencing a humanoid robot for the first time in their space. And the reaction was very positive. First impression, very friendly. And so that was good to see. And the humanoid robot, Koid, we call it, has been like a tourist here and has visited famous places around London and has had a good experience here.
And did you take it to the pub?
The human, yep, the robot did go to the pub. It was there at happy hour yesterday.
It must have had an incredible response there by
It
the
did.
service.
It was
amazing.
it was the first time.
So as the retail space starts adapting into humanoids and the hardware, is it costly to buy one of these robots?
Yeah, I think the costs or depending on the robot the type the costs can be very affordable to more sophisticated robots that or higher priced. But it's where the use cases are coming in, and I think the number one use case is in factories, in production, manufacturing, the automation of manufacturing, where humanoid robots will play a significant role. You also see robots, in universities, and a lot of the universities are buying the robots and also offering new career directions around this industry and learning about robotics and the humanoid robots. We also see it in hospitals. Okay, and then elderly care. Okay, so those are initial use cases, but I think it's going to expand. You're going to see it also in retail, shopping, and experiences, and then eventually where there could be 1 billion robots in the world. I think there'll be a lot of new use cases. And what's this all about? It's really creating efficiencies and conveniences, and that's driving this.
And KraneShares headquarters is?
Yeah, in New York City.
And maybe expansion in the near future
Yeah.
as this technology goes as well?
Absolutely. So we're in New York City. We also have an office in London, and our investor base is now global. So institutionals to wealth management to retail investors.
And if people want to learn a little bit more about KraneShares or this technology, any websites or any sources of information?
Sure. So we have a lot on our website, on the KraneShares.com website. There's also the banks are putting out a lot of research now around this. So Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and others, or their research teams, have identified humanoid robots as a significant asset class and theme, and other groups also, like McKinsey and some of the consulting groups, are also covering this now.
Enough, and like any kind of investment, the investor should always learn about as much as you possibly can before making some informed decisions. But you mentioned geographically a little bit about China. Where do you see the biggest growth geographically around the world?
Yeah. So I think the humanoid robot producers, the leaders around the technology, are really coming out of China. Okay. Also the United States. We also see Japan and Korea getting involved, Germany, even England, and some other countries. But I think a lot of the producers and the ecosystem, the supply chain, will expand globally too for production. As the adoption increases around the world for humanoid robots, these supply chains and OEMs will need to be situated around the world.
Can't tell you enough. We really appreciate you taking time, visiting us here, and telling us a little bit about KraneShares. We wish you all the luck, and we'll be keeping an eye on it.
Thank you very much, and we appreciate our long-term relationship with Interactive Brokers, incredible platform, and thanks so much for having us today.
Thank you, and much success.
The analysis in this material is provided for information only and is not and should not be construed as an offer to sell or the solicitation of an offer to buy any security. To the extent that this material discusses general market activity, industry, or sector trends, or other broad-based economic or political conditions, it should not be construed as research or investment advice. To the extent that it includes references to specific securities, commodities, currencies, or other instruments, those references do not constitute a recommendation by IBKR to buy, sell, or hold such investments. This material does not and is not intended to take into account the particular financial conditions, investment objectives, or requirements of individual customers. Before acting on this material, you should consider whether it is suitable for your particular circumstances, and, as necessary, seek professional advice. Any discussion or mention of an ETF is not to be construed as recommendation, promotion, or solicitation. All investors should review and consider associated investment risks, charges, and expenses of the investment company or fund prior to investing. Before acting on this material, you should consider whether it is suitable for your particular circumstances, and, as necessary, seek professional advice.